Jody from the Average AF. Just reflecting on the conversations yesterday. I got to present to the BMA board, and thank you very much to the Wellness Steering Committee for taking the time to listen. Feels good every time you sort of talk about this project, because you can really start to beat yourself up after a while. I mean, this is a project in its infancy, 7 months creating, released for 4 months, and still so young in the journey. And realistically, the effort and focus that it's going to take me to stay interested in it as it grows is part of what I'm trying to build with the Working on Wellness factor. It's knowing what's difficult and working towards it. It's bringing delayed gratification back into my life, instead of I want it, I get it, I pay for it later. The reward feeling is already gone by the time I pay it off. It's awareness about gratitude, that we might feel like we've got a crappy situation at work, but we have work. We are happily sort of living in a first world country. We do earn a lot of money for people that are uneducated. I don't have a single letter behind my name, so why should I be complaining about what I earn? I should never even have a thought about that. So the Working on Wellness factor, is the WOW factor, is the stuff in the back of the website, where we basically need to acknowledge the 5 principles for me. It is spiritual, physical, intellectual, financial, and emotional. Because the whole goal of this is to make sure that we spend a little bit of our time, an average amount of our time, on each of those things, to make sure that we're sort of average at each of them. Because whenever you get really, really good at one of them, it's usually at the cost of another one. So I think we've spoken about this before with Tiger Woods is a classic example of super successful, greatest golfer in the world in the physical realm. And I'm obviously financially excellent. Intellectually, I don't know. Spiritually, I don't know. But emotionally, obviously, completely disconnected from from his family and wife and stuff. Or got himself to the point where he still ended up alcoholic, wife cheater on the news for all the bad things he did. Eventually his body started to break down and had injuries, so even his physical prowess sort of started to suffer. So by default his life really became average AF. So people do that all the time. If we spend every day in church spiritually, you're probably going to suffer financially. You might get yourself so wound up in your spiritual beliefs that you might not have any room for intellectual growth in your life. If you work all day long for financial gain and you study all day long for intellectual gain, you're most likely going to have physically suffer and emotionally suffer for not getting outside in the sun, having friend time, having family time. So they're all relative to what we're trying to do. And I'm not freaking Tony Robbins, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to start a revolution where I stand on a stage with 1 million people. I'm just using a media outlet to tape my own words, because most of the psychological outlets that you use through employee assistance programs and stuff like that really are just a sounding board to get your thoughts out. And I particularly like to talk. I have a really unique life journey based on all of the lucky adventures that I've been able to have, all of the crazy things that I've done, drunk and sober, and have survived. And only through experience do you really have true awareness of what it is what it is that makes us happy, sad, fortunate, and unlucky. So the working on wellness, the wow factor that you might hear me talking about. I think I've got the try to dip the camera. Working on the wellness factor. It's pretty different way to sort of think for me about making sure that I focus on each of those areas. But every time I talk about it, I still get to the point where I realise, intellectually, I'm listening to podcasts all the time. I'm trying to do courses to educate myself. This whole social media journey is a monstrous one. But then you go to the other extreme of, physically, I've been training a lot more than I used to. I've been training differently by filming all the videos, so that's my physical. Financially, I have a fantastic job that pays well, but I'm always still looking to move that money into properties and stuff like that. Emotionally, I'm much better than what I have been, of talking about my problems, doing these videos, blogs. I spend a lot of time weekly with my team having behind door conversations for long periods of time about their issues and problems, and obviously I get to tell them mine so they can draw parallels, because I'm not a professional. I do not try and give them professional advice. I give them an ear for them to sound out their own and hopefully get them to get the professional help they need, if they need anything more than just a chat. But spiritually, I realised on the way home that I haven't meditated or done anything even remotely connected to body and soul sort of thing for ages, actually, since I started feeling better. And so, again, just a little side note for myself that, I've got to walk my own talk and make sure that I stay connected with all of the elements that I believe are necessary to give yourself an average foothold. So not so much physical, maybe not so much finance, and maybe wind one of them back a little bit to take a little bit of time for mindfulness. And I haven't been to yoga for a long time. I've been to Pilates for a long time. They are fantastic tools for connecting mind and body. And so that's the working on wellness factor. And if you managed to watch this far into it, I apologise for the shaky video. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get your camera to sit up on your dash and then sort of try and make sure it doesn't fall off in any time you try and tilt it. So thanks for listening. Have some fun. Jump on the website averageaf.com. That's where we talk about all of the working on wellness stuff. That's where all of our links for mental health are. If you are struggling and you need more than just a good read or a good video to draw some parallels about where you are in your life. And if you're not doing the physical part of it, jump on to the physical part. Intellectually, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. That's the stuff we're working on at the moment with the camps, to try and fill those voids for people, and eventually the wow factor points will be the discount tokens to receiving those services for free. So you do a little bit of work, you get a bit of reward. That's the way things should be, just to make us a bit more resilient at working towards a goal. So thanks for listening. Have a good day.